Maoz Inon, who's an award-winning peace activist whose parents were killed in the Hamas October the 7th attacks on southern Israel. He's joining us from Binyamina. Thank you very much for being with us. As you heard there from our correspondent, the Israeli hostage group is saying that the remains of 3 of the captives returned by Hamas have been identified. If you could just give us a sense, perhaps, having had your parents also killed in the October 7th attacks, a sense of what this means for the families. Will this bring them closure?
I think the first, thanks for hosting me in your show, and good morning to everyone. I think the closure will be reached only when we not seek reaching a ceasefire and a deal to release all hostages and prisoners. The closure will be only when we make a lasting peace. When the outcome of this bloody and devastating war will be a reconciliation and a conflict resolution. This will be the closure. Otherwise, there would be no justification for any of the sacrifices that were being made by both Palestinian and Israelis. And this is basically what I'm saying from the day I lost my parents on October 7th, that we must end the war, we must make a deal, hostages prisoner deal, and we must start a reconciliation process between the Israelis and Palestinians, because this conflict has been going for too long. For about a century, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is, we are locked in a trap. We've been led by extremists from both sides, and it's time to end the conflict. And we deserve it, our children deserve it, and all the people, all the 14 million people living here between the river to the sea, 7 million Israelis, 7 million Palestinians. We paid enough with our blood, with our life, and it's time to end this trauma and this pain.
Maoz, a very powerful message there. But how hopeful are you about these next stages and next phases after this latest exchange of captives and bodies, especially when we hear a lot of reporting in the Israeli media that Prime Minister Netanyahu and the people around him have no interest in continuing with phase 2 of the deal, let alone phase 3 of the deal?
You're right. So concerning the near future, I think we might witness a catastrophe. The level of dehumanization that the Israeli government, generals, and politicians are doing to the Palestinians, the level of dehumanization is reaching the level of dehumanization that was made 31 years ago in Rwanda. The Israeli government don't see the Palestinians as human beings. And this is very frightening. And if we won't stop this dehumanization and start humanize each other, it might end in a catastrophe that we all gonna just witness and won't believe that we didn't stop it, even if we could. So what we are doing, and when I'm saying we, it's the Palestinian-Israeli peace camp, which is gaining momentum and power on the ground. We are envisioning and creating a better future for both people. While the leaders, the failed leaders from both sides, visioning bloodshed, visioning revenge, visioning one people ruling the other people, or one land for one people, we envision that both people, Palestinian and Israelis, will live among together in peace, in equality, and dignity. And this is why we are working on the ground. This is why we are calling for international support. This is why I'm so happy you are hosting me in your show, to know that while the situation looks hopeless from far away and even on the ground, we are creating hope. At the same time, we are creating hope by envisioning a better future for both people and by acting to make it into a reality.
It is powerful what you're saying there, and we can hear it that, since your parents were killed in the October 7th attacks, you have indeed become a prominent voice for peace between Israelis and Palestinians. You say you're envisioning this future, Maoz, but you need that political support, don't you, at some point for this future to become a reality? Where will you get that
Yes.
support from?
So we are creating the political will. What history proved in many conflict resolutions that were achieved throughout the world, throughout history, that many times those who signed the peace treaties were those who were just before that were in charge for genocide, in charge for bloodshed and revenge. So we must create this political will to transform those who now still choose violence, still choose destruction and revenge. We need to create this political will. And this is why we are working on the ground. So on the next election in Israel that will happen this year or the beginning of 2026, for the first time, there will be a joint party by Jewish and Arabs that will run together to the Knesset, to the Israeli parliament. So we're doing many action on the ground to create the political will and to change the discourse. This is why we are also, the Peace Camp created a coalition of more than 60 civil society organizations, Palestinian Israelis. And in coming May, we're going to do the People Peace Summit. And in Jerusalem, it's a 2-day event. We're expecting dozens of thousands participants, Palestinian Israelis, from the international supporters, to change the discourse and to force our politicians to change their course and the path they choose. Because for too long, our politicians choose the path of blood, the path of land, and not the path of humanity. So this is what we are here to offer, a new path, to build this path and to start working on it. And we are not waiting for anyone. We're going to take leadership position, and we are building our momentum, our legitimacy, and our international coalition. And this is what we are basically working day and night.
Thank you so much for talking to us and sharing your views and your hopes with us. Maoz Inon, award-winning Israeli peace activist, joining us there from Binyamina. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.